All right, we're here with the last lesson of capital letters. One of our last lessons covering forms. We have one more covering our numbers and symbols, or figures as we call them. But this lesson right here is on the Q and the Z. And I'm putting these together because they both feature this looping element here, this little loop at the top, which then loops into this curving capital stem, and then goes into a loop here, a horizontal loop at the baseline. So we see that there in the Q, and then we see it again in the Z. Curving capital stem into a horizontal loop. And they each have their own finish. Start with the Q here. Beautiful Q. This is the best way to make your cursive Qs. I wouldn't recommend any other way. Even if you haven't seen it before, it might look a little strange to you. It looks like a number 2, of course. Finishes like an L. From here to here, that's an L, okay? Once you make that loop, do it one more time. And to really get this on slant, you want to make sure you're pulling this stroke. I just missed the ascender height, but you want to make sure you're pulling this over to the left, all right? We don't want to be doing any of this, okay? That's when this gets way off slant. That's a vertical Q. We want to keep that slanting Q. Let me try it again at the nice big loop here. There we go. That's looking better. That's the Q. Great letter, simple letter. But getting the slant on it is the hardest part, and the key is to bring this loop over here to the left, okay? You want that to be outside of that starting loop there. All right, let's go into the Z. Again, slant is another big issue that people have with this letter. They don't want to bring this horizontal loop far enough over to the left. Look at that slant line there in the back of this. That's making the slant of our letter. So let's give it a try. Nice little loop at the top. Pulling it over. Loop there, which I didn't open up all the way. And then I finished with the overturn. You can do the overturn or the compound curve like I did in the exemplar. All right, let's try it again because I didn't leave that loop open. We want to have a little air, a little space in that loop. Nice rounded back to this. And a real small loop there. Don't want to make this loop big. I did that one good. If you have too big of a loop there, you'll get this. Gets your letter off slant. You see how making that loop so big caused me to come too wide here on this turn. Now I have this big, wide, descending loop, which I don't want, and in giving this vertical look on the letter, which I don't want. Where the top part is kind of on slant, but then the bottom part is too vertical. Not what we want. Let's do it one more time the right way. Small loop. Boom. And just like our lowercase z, the descending loop here is going to have some roundness on the downstroke. It's not going to be straight like our Y, for example, our capital Y, which we just went over. All right, let's just do a couple quick words here. Quaker. Starting with our capital Q. Coming nice and wide over here. Coming under the baseline. On that little flourish to the end of the letter. Crossing that K at our X height. Pulling this K down on slant. And finishing it. All right, it's looking pretty good. This A got a little bit below the baseline right there. That's the real mistake. This actually crossed a little bit above the X height, if I'm being critical. The Q is not quite as rounded as I would like. I would have liked it to come a little more like that. You don't want this to be too straight. You want to have a nice roundness to it. All right, and our last word here, Zahner, the penman of all penmen, founder, principal of the Zahnarian College, one of the last remaining penmanship colleges in the country. And it's just how the Z connects into that A perfectly with the overturn. might have not provided enough space between that Z and the A. So I'm going to do it again. I got a little cramped here. We can do better than that. Nice rounded back here. Small loop. Stretch that connective stroke in. That's looking a lot better. That provides a little space. And let's just finish this nice and solidly. All right, that's a good way to end. This Z is nice and on slant. Everything else is on slant. We have good spacing, maybe a touch more space here than we had there and there. But a good finish to our capital letters.